You join me here today at Bundy's pit. It's a lake in Cambridgeshire, Whittlesea. It's got a good head of 30 and 40 pounders in, that's why I chose this lake. It's roughly 8 acres in size, with depths varying from 10 foot well over 60 foot. It's a bit of a headbanger of a water to get your head around them depths, but with the help of the adjustable Zig floats, the fish spend a lot of time up in the upper layers of water. The stock in here is roughly, I would say, 50 to 60 30 pounders with 10 to 15 40 pounders, right up to 49 10 I believe, and I think it's about 3 or 4 49 pounders. Obviously it's got a good head of 20 pounders in as well, but mainly you are fishing for 20 pound plus fish. Yeah, as I was saying, so I do opt to fish zigs in here, especially this time of the year, March, April sort of time. They sort of come into their own because the fish, obviously the lake being so deep, the fish spend a lot of their time within 10 foot of the upper layers of the surface water. So having an adjustable zig float obviously gets you to them depths of where the fish are. I've not actually been down here for a while because I've been fishing a lake close to home, Wood Lakes, where you filmed last time. Only because I haven't had the time to get down, and also you can get a few bites down there. This does do bites in the winter, but they tend to dry up more so than spring. So I left it until, I think I come down about 2 weeks ago, which was my first session back after 5.5 months, something like that. And yeah, I was lucky enough to brace a couple of upper 30 pounders. So a quick phone call to Fox, and I had Harry here come down to picture the 38 pounder. Well, here we are at Bundy's pit, and I've only gone and managed to bag one of the gems that live in here. 38 pound of common carp, caught on an adjustable float just feet below the surface. Well made up. And while we was doing so, the rod that was left out, I had another bite on, which turned out to be a 37 pounder. Well, if you need any more proof that adjustable zigs work, then here we have it. 37 pound 7 ounce of gorgeous common carp. Second bite of the day trip. Buzzing, well happy. So yeah, to actually come back on the first session and get 2 upper 30 pounders was a real result. Then from there it brings us up to sort of date really. I got down yesterday before the cameras got down, and decided to sort of have a good look around and try and get on some fish prior to you coming down. And yeah, I was rewarded with another fish, of which was a recapture. However, it's a stunning looking common of 31.3, I think it was, something like that. Whatever, it was a banging looking fish, which I'm buzzing about. So yeah, 2 sessions in and 3 30s to report. Happy days. The times when I would use zigs are obviously times of high pressure. That's the most obvious sort of time. The sun's glaring down. The fish, especially in spring, are going to want to come up and, you know, warm the backs. And yeah, spring is a must for me. I use adjustable zigs in here because basically you cannot use a fixed setup in 20, 30, 40 foot depths. So to come here with a fixed zig setup you'd be fishing the margins, of which are like 20 foot deep, and even then you'd struggle. So yeah, places like Bundy's with an average depth of 30 foot, you need an adjustable zig float to be able to fish effectively up in the upper layers of where the fish are. The advantages, I would say, of an adjustable zig float, even in the more shallower depth of lakes, is obviously you can keep adjusting them depths throughout and find and locate them fish. If they're a foot under, 2 foot under, 3 foot under, you can keep adjusting. Generally, as a rule of thumb, carp angler have 3 rods out, 3 different depths. Generally, as a rule of thumb, I like to start at 3/4 depth and go just below and just over as a starting point, and then go up or down accordingly and wait until I get a bite. And then generally, if I get a bite, I tend to go within them depths, the whole 3. But yeah, just keep adjusting them depths throughout the 3/4 or above layers, really. So the good thing is with adjustable zig floats is the fact you don't actually have to keep reeling them in and recasting them. Once they're out on the area where you've seen fish, you just literally bring in a foot, obviously they come down a foot, or pail out a foot and they come up a foot. So if you're fishing in 10 foot of water, and as a starting point I'd fish 7.5, 8 foot around that depth. If you find you ain't having a bite, come up a foot, come up to 9 foot. If you find that's not working, come down 2 foot. You're actually covering 3 foot of water without the case of having to reel in and putting a fixed one on, of which you'd have to keep chopping and changing, cutting and making new rigs up. So I opt for a 5-ounce lead. The reason for that really is not only to get me out in them depths, but to keep everything taut with your zig float, so you can adjust it up and down and you know the lead is not moving. However, I do use it drop-off style, so I'm not playing a 5-ounce lead while I'm playing a fish. I use the new drop-off kit from Fox, which allows you to use a PVA strip. You put a PVA strip in there, obviously cast it out, it dissolves, but there's obviously enough tension when you reel it in, you can reel it in, you don't lose a lead. But if you are playing a fish and it do hook up on something, and sometimes when they shake, it comes off, which is perfect for using for zigs. If I'm fishing a shallower lake, I would opt to fish a smaller lead and just put the peg in rather than the PVA strip. That way, I don't lose a lead if it's not necessarily to do so. As I say, the option is there. If you want to lose your lead, you just take the peg out and put a PVA strip in, and then you're back on to losing the lead again. Generally, I use it with a boom, mainly because it sits neater with a boom section. But you can, however, use it without the boom. You take the pin out and you just put your lead directly into there. Same again, you can use it with a PVA strip or just the peg, but yeah, without the boom.